I'll just do that. I always forget you have to... Which, I like that change, but at the same time, I keep forgetting you have to actually, like...
The point of it to me, like, so they had... there was a villager in this game, I can't remember if they were introduced in this or not, that's a sheep, and they look like a hamburger, and their name is Wendy for obvious reasons. Their name is changed in the American, but you think, oh, it might be because of some, like, copyright thing. No! In the American version, a different villager that is also a sheep was given the name Wendy for the US when her name was something completely different in Japan. A what?
A yucca.
The fuck is a yucca? Oh, I think I've seen that before. It's a type of Japanese plant, I think.
We need more crab on the island.
Mm.
And that's
Ozzy's standing right there.
Oh my god, really?
I don't understand how you don't see his face to be positively punchable.
Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna put some money towards the house. I actually have enough to pay it off entirely, but I'm probably only going to pay half for now. 200. And now, deposit. There we go. We'll pay it off in full later. I just wanted to save. I wanted to save some money, and I'm probably also going to put a little bit of that money into the bank later anyway. Now, the Able sisters... Oh, hey, I'm starting to get some other crossbreeds. Oh, the thing I said I was going to say, but I didn't, and this was funny and just how dumb it is. This YouTube series, and the person was doing massive amounts of time traveling. They were doing massive amounts of time traveling, and they had demolished every cliff on their island, and their island was flat, and the way they got 5 stars was filling it with flowers and coffee makers. And building ramps to nowhere, so the 5-star rules are absolute bollocks.
They're complete bullshit.
Also, because for some reason no one knows this, I'll point out in a second.
Oh, we can buy clothes. Look.
Oh, funny.
Of course she would go here as soon as it opens.
She also changed out of...
She changed back into her normal clothes. You need to actually be looking at clothes. I wonder, can villagers actually buy things now? They're always just kind of stand around in the stores and walk around like dumbasses.
So, like in the older Animal Crossings, and this is something a lot of people don't realize is a thing, talk to her for like 10 days. So, okay.
No talking, only sewing. That's kind of fucked up.
What are you doing in here?
Of course you would. Because snooty villagers are basically supposed to be old white women, right?
Kind of.
Okay, so yeah, of course she would.
This is a alternate way to do designs without QR codes. So I'm accessing it just to show how it works.
So there was actually a way to do it.
Meaning, and I wanted to try something, but... So, give me a second. Hold on. Someone had sent a screenshot of a code. I just want to see if this works. Where they just had this hat and this one dress. I just want to see. So, if I enter this code, I should get this hat and this one dress just to see if this works. I wanted a testing code. So, one moment. Oh, that actually works. Cool.
Well, that hat.
And you have to save it, so we'll just
get rid of one of the blank patterns
Yep.
that has nothing on it.
And they also had a dress. I just want to make sure these work. So, again, one moment. This is just a cool little one-off thing just to show the design. Someone actually handed me a code for testing reasons. So. Yep. Neat.
It's like the well, Erison sent these. Are they okay with other people using the codes? Because you might have to blur like part of the code out here if they.
The person who sent these didn't even make this.
Oh, okay.
It's not even her design.
Oh, they stole it. Okay then.
No. Well, you can share designs.
I was making a joke.
This is off a forum.
I was making a joke with the stealing. That was just me making a joke. Because everyone on the internet is just going to take the
person who gave me the codes got them from a forum and shared it. So I just wanted to make sure that worked. And because she sent it as kind of a joke. Oh, yeah, that art.
It's in Pro Design.
No, I'm testing the L and R. Sometimes it does that one R button. We might need to get the red Joy-Con. Oh, Jesus Christ. Or we're clicking the button wrong. So, she sent it as kind of a joke because I had made a point about I was running around in a dress. And also, it doesn't look that bad.
You know, it's nothing that YouTube will get offended over.
Yeah. That's the point.
Does buying shit, now that they're, like, the shop is here, does buying shit from them do anything other than buying more clothes?
Well, kind of, but no. To get the big item little bonus, you need to talk to her for like 10 days. The third able sister.
Are those, like, the outfits on the mannequins, can you just buy full outfits now? Oh.
You can.
Oh, you could buy everything if you wanted.
Yeah. So. I'm just worried about that R button, but it seems to be working now. Huh, weird. Yeah, the R seems fine. I'm just tapping it. So, we might have to get that. Don't want to have to repair both sets of Joy-Cons. Anyway, let's see what clothes are. Oh. Wrestling. I'm just looking at water shoes. Actually need a pair of those.
Why do you need a pair of those?
Because I was going to say the third Able sister shows up after the shop is built and does a fashion challenge. And the fashion challenge uses random categories. This one category that was kind of vague, I actually saw someone win with water shoes by my recommendation. So, in case that happens to show up...
So then, by that logic, we need to buy everything.
Damn near everything, yeah. And here's the...
Oh, here are just random custom designs.
Yep.
The presets.
Yeah, the presets. So... And then... Wish you could ask to buy, like, all of these. I'll just spend a bunch of money in here. I'll just buy a bunch of nonsense in case we want to.
I feel like considering that the stuff is displayed on a mannequin all together, that, like, wearing it, you know, all as a set, basically, for the fashion show could potentially be important.
No! Well, yes, but no. The fashion is matching the theme.
If, like, the third Able sister is the one that does fashion stuff, now, that means, yeah, like, Grace is just erased from this canon. More like Erasie, am I right? Because she's fucking gone.
Aren't you being a bit literal? He said comb the desert, and we're combing it! You see, because I'm wearing...
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
That's what this makes me think of.
It also makes me think of that one board from Mario Party 2. Because Mario Party 2 was the only game that actually changed their clothes to fit the board for some reason.
Track pants.
And in the old West world, in the Japanese version, they shoot at each other with actual guns. Bowser gets shot.
Phone.
Bowser gets shot and fucking dies.
Okay. So, for the fashion reasons, I'm basically buying up most of what they had, because I had some extra spending money. Because now that we've had the shop, in a day or two we should get...
We should finally get the upgrade to the Nook shop.
I just bought... I think I bought...
You just bought the shades, I believe.
No, I bought those. See if I have those pants. Denim pants. Track pants. Oh.
Nope.
The third Able sister will show up in a couple of days. To meet her fashion challenge, you need a variety of different items. So, the water shoes work for this one simple theme, and I think that one simple theme is more common as the first one. But it could be random, I'm not sure about that. I'll take the butterfly shades. Neat. And then the round. Those look so cool. Those just look really funny. Might change it up. So, I mean, we basically bought them out.
With the round shades, you look like someone from Holes. That's a weird fucking movie.
Rocking my lord helmet look.
I love how when they're in that desert scene, like, his hat is really long so that it still works like the helmet.
He has the lord... He has his helmet, but it's an extended helmet. If you've never watched Spaceballs...
First, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. I mean, that is an older movie. It's a... Oh, there's one. It's a really good Star Wars parody.
So, doesn't Mel Brooks say he doesn't consider it a Star Wars parody? I can kind of...
It is technically original enough.
I can kind of see that idea because it uses, like, sort of the baseline of Star Wars.
It's
similar
based...
things, but then goes in its complete own direction.
And Lord Helmet is making fun of Darth Vader, but he's a dude with a really big helmet, and the Explorer thing, he's in a costume like this, but because the joke is he has this really big helmet that he has on, and he'll, like, open his faceplate. He has an Explorer hat like this, but it goes down, and it still does that faceplate thing. So his helmet, when they're out in the desert, is the weird Explorer helmet, and it's hilarious. That's one of my favorite, just dumb, like...
My favorite visual gags in that movie is the no parking sign, because it basically, for the time it lives, no one would ever be able to park there.
It's no parking between the hours of, like...
It's like...
12 a.m. to 12 p.m.?
Yeah.
Meaning it is, like, no parking between 12 in the morning to 12 at night, meaning it is, like, this weird, you know, vague no parking that could debatably be argued that you can never park there.
What the fuck is he staring at?
A moth.
Are you people distracted by the most inane bullshit?
It's a moth.
I swear anything in this town gets them, like, it's a story drooling like a slack-jaw inbred.
Let's put up my clothes. So, hopefully we'll get a fashion challenge in a day or two. The reason I'm warning about that preemptively...
But are the fashion challenges as obnoxious as Gracie's? Because those were bullshit.
Kind of, but not really.
So yeah, Gracie's just fucking gone from this timeline then. Oh, guess she died, because that's how the internet works.
It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So anyway, I love silly questions like this. How many of you have actually watched the movie Spaceballs? I thought I would ask because that movie is basically pretty old at this point because it came out in the late 80s. Meaning, as far as cultural relevance goes, that movie is kind of at a weird point where a lot of people have nostalgia for it, but a lot of people might not actually be familiar with that movie or the other Mel Brooks films that are incredibly well known. Out of his work, Spaceballs is one of my favorite movies. Carson loves that movie too. We just happened to watch it a lot when we were basically children. And I have a distinct fondness for it because we liked Star Wars. And while it is more of a sci-fi parody, the main design and overall, point of the movie takes a lot more from Star Wars than anything else. However, if you are a sci-fi fan, a lot of the jokes are pretty good for fans of sci-fi. But if you are a Star Wars fan, especially the original trilogy, that movie is a really, really fun time. It's a very, very funny movie, and I think it holds up well because I feel like a lot of the jokes have not aged poorly. Because a lot of movies from the 80s will sometimes have jokes that could be considered poor taste by a modern audience. But I feel that movie is pretty timeless with the humor. However, one or two jokes, I could see somebody rolling their eyes and thinking those jokes have kind of aged, but if you know a lot about Mel Brooks, those jokes are fine, and even this one other really good sexual joke, I think, is funny given the context, especially because they don't harp on it too much. And, again, it's a parody movie, and he was known for doing some stupid, immature jokes, which I actually think the movie does not have that many of, and the rest of it is just good, very clear inspiration from Star Wars and other sci-fi, and they take that inspiration and basically make fun of it, but do so as someone who is clearly a fan of the material, because it never comes off as malicious. That movie really is a very, very fun time. If you have never watched the movie and you care enough about my opinion or Carson's opinion, I highly recommend that movie, especially if you are a Star Wars fan or an overall fan of sci-fi. The movie is an incredible watch, even if the main part of the parody is mostly focused on Star Wars stuff. That's more obvious than the other sci-fi jokes. But if you are going to watch this movie, I have a couple of small points. First of all, Mel Brooks has a very weird brand of comedy that sometimes does not gel with people, but if the comedy gels with people, his other movies might also be worth watching. And you need to understand that this movie has a few fourth wall breaking meta jokes, which could also turn people off, but at the time the movie was made in the 80s, that kind of humor was not that common. So those jokes were super fresh and original at the time. Do not let dumb modern sensibilities basically deflate your enthusiasm for a movie made before so many things would do sort of fourth wall breaking tropes. And I think some of the fourth wall breaks and other meta jokes are some of the best parts of that movie. And you need to understand it is purely a nonsensical comedy. It's not a movie designed to be thought-provoking. It's just designed to be funny. And if the humor clicks with you, you will probably be laughing your ass off. And yes, some of the humor can be kind of juvenile, but I think the movie is fine. And I do recommend Spaceballs because I find it funny. And a lot of the dumber jokes are some of my favorite jokes in the movie because a lot of the dumb jokes catch you off guard and are sort of so out of left field if you've never seen the movie that you will likely chuckle just because the absurd situation hit you when you were least expecting it, even the dumb juvenile stuff, which is still minimalistic, but I'm not going to sit here and ramble about Spaceballs any longer. I just love that movie. Anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.